ॐ यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तं ह देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशम् मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या सम्प्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। वेदान्तार्थविभासकाय गुरवे शान्ताय सन्न्यासिने नानावादीनगेन्द्रसङ्घपवये योगीन्द्रवन्द्याय च मोहध्वान्तदिवाकराय भगवत्पादाभिधाम् बिभ्रते तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततम् पूर्णाय बोधात्मने। Amongst the various works authored by Bhagavan Shankaracharya, we have a range of various kinds of works. The most important are the commentaries on Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, and Brahma Sutra. These three, the Upanishad, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Brahma Sutra, are called as Prasthanatraya, which means the three paths. Okay. Now, that does not mean that, we have a choice of taking to any one of them, because tattu samanvayat. Everything has to be seen together in the bigger picture. So, giving commentaries on these three is the principal body of what we will call as Vedanta. So these Upanishad, Brahma Sutra, and Bhagavad Gita, this is Prasthanatraya. We can consider this as the principal body of Vedanta. The commentaries, the sub-commentaries, the glosses from the tradition then consist as the giving the shape to this principal body. Based on this, based on these are rest of the works. The other category of work is called as Prakarana Granthas. Now, the Prakarana Granthas aim at making us understand the various topics of the Shastra, of these Prasthanatraya. So that our understanding of the principal body of Vedanta becomes clear in its finest details. So even the objective of the Prakarana Granthas then already is in following the principal body, the Prasthana Granthas. Then there is another category of work which is in form of devotional hymns. So broadly, we can have the works of Shankaracharya in these three categories: the commentaries, the Prakarana Granthas, and the literature of hymns, devotional literature. In the Prasthana Granthas, we have certain elaborate works like the Upadesha Sahasri, which is quite advanced, as well as Gambhira, very deep. And in the Prakarana Granthas itself, there are certain works which have an equal depth. Okay, these all profound, but it allows us to have an overall, a broader view. So we are able to catch, we are able to catch, understand, cognize the main idea, though we may not go into its finer analysis. So these works are shorter, and in fact, some works are so short, though profound, but very short, which may be just 10 verses or 5 verses, and therefore, or 8 verses, or even 6 verses. I mean, the number is irrelevant, but that helps us to say that, this is a Panchakam, this is a Shatakam, Dashashloki, so on and so forth. The number of the verses involved is just, helps us to have a title to that work. Now, to be able to condense that massive understanding, or that the principles, into just few, which means the person has the ability to expand and also to condense. So also talking to these scholars and people of with really penetrating intellect is one thing, and talking to people like us who are lay beginners, hmm, and perhaps would feel confused and lost if we enter into any form of philological discussions. For us, we require clear instructions which are simpler and perhaps something like a baby food, something which can be digested, assimilated very easily. So one does not feel lost or feels, you know, that this is not something that is meant for me. It might be something great, but not for me. For because the students range from beginners to somebody who is extremely advanced. We have a range of intellects with subtlety, with purity, with intensity, and various levels of commitment. Therefore, the seekers or the spiritual aspirants are going to be all different. Now, there is going to be something which can be equally appealing to a person who is a beginner as well as to somebody who is very, very advanced. Because that what has been said is a capsuled form of what can be analyzed to a great fine refinement. And so one of the works of Bhagavan Shankaracharya is called as Sadhana Panchakam. The title itself will make it clear that it is a composition of just 5 verses, 5 shlokas, and therefore it is a pentad. The title also gives us an idea about the contents of this work. Sadhana, the word sadhana means, in various people even say Sadhana Panchakam, Sadhana Panchakam, because there are different titles to it. Upadesha Panchakam or even Upadesha Pancharatnam. There are various in tradition. All these titles to this work are prachalita, are in vogue. Every word then we will have to say. Sadhana means the meaning is the means, the tool, the equipment through which something can be accomplished, achieved, or attained. Depending upon what is it that the person wants to attain, he is going to adopt the means. So, whatever means a person is going to take to will depend on what is it that he wants to attain or achieve. For example, if I want to cross the river and go to the other bank, I need not take an aeroplane. Even a raft or a boat is good enough to take me across. Sadhana. So over here, the means, the appropriate means to achieve the target is a boat. We cannot take a car because perhaps we are in a place where it is the river is there is no bridge to go across. So these vehicles are not useful. Though you may have a Ferrari or some, highly advanced, what do they call, a car, automobile, but that will not work because that is good when it comes to land. But we want to cross over the water body, and therefore we will have to take to a boat. Okay, a boat. Therefore, depending upon what the sadhyam is, sadhyam means the target or that objective, the that what has to be achieved, attained, that is called as sadhyam. Depending upon what the sadhyam the person has, the sadhanam will be there. So there is a relationship between the sadhyam and sadhanam. What sadhanam the person should take now is completely, it is not, oh, it's my choice. The choice is about choosing the appropriate one, not something that you may like or this because it suits me. It should suit you so that it can take you to the desired goal. That's important. This is what is sadhana. So that in which the sadhana is mentioned. Now we have to understand there is something like the ultimate attainment and something which are intermediary. Intermediary in the sense, these are the various stations on the way to the destination. So if one is traveling from Delhi to Mumbai, then whatever other cities and towns that the train will cover, these are the small stations. But ultimately, where is it that you want to reach? To Mumbai. Like that, there are intermediary goals. So having achieved which, one becomes more confident about his journey. That yes, one is progressing. And so the final goal is that final destination should not be lost out of the sight. That's important. One should always keep that in sight and keep on progressing. Sadhana. So we have immediate goals, which can be now immediate, intermediary, and final, ultimate. Let us say, in order to achieve the immediate one, what should be done? How do you prepare yourself for the next one? And then finally, in preparing and having achieved the immediate intermediary, how does one reach the ultimate one? So thus, that intelligent choice of actions, that intelligent choice of Sadhana means now is what is going to make the person's life fruitful. The advice given or the path shown then over here is the instruction by the teacher. Thus, this pentad, this Panchakam, a collection of these 5 verses, do this very, very clearly. Because it has got this clarity, now it becomes appealing to any simple person as well as to a person with who is very advanced with intense commitment and penetrating intellect too. Hmm. So, and Shuddha Buddhi for everyone alike. So, this kind of a work is an extreme rarity. So, a person who is a beginner also may feel that, well, I have understood something, and I can see that even a person with who's advanced also is able to appreciate something, the substance over there. So this combination is extremely rare. That it can be equally appealing, interesting, captivating for both these kinds of students, people. Because the book of physics for a beginner and the book of physics for for a PhD student, though both of these books are dealing with physics, yet the person who is in the PhD now is not going to refer to the beginner book to get his clarity. So that book is of no use to him. We cannot find this combination elsewhere. Wherever it is found, then we will have to respect and understand its value. Therefore, this work, something like the Sadhana Panchakam, can always remain as a work of great value to all, right up to Jivan Mukti, right up to there. So let us see. The other title is Upadesha Panchakam or Upadesha Pancharatnam. When it is said Sadhana Panchakam, which means the spiritual practice, sadhana. What are the spiritual practices and how does a person progress? And that progress also means that having covered something before, now it loses its relevance or it does not remain as relevant as before. That does not mean that there is a disrespect for that. Just as a person who climbs the ladder, now when he climbs the ladder, he is going to leave the lower rung and step on the next rung of the ladder. Having left the lower rung, does not mean that, he looks upon it with disdain. He is grateful because without this, he could not have been where he is now. So there is respect. So all the sadhanas over here, all the various means are to be respected because anyone then is going to be grateful for having reached him here, wherever he is at that point. So whatever has helped him come to this point, he is grateful to all of that. Grateful does not mean that he carries it all over. You go to the other bank of the river does not mean now that I have to be, since I'm very grateful to the boat, I will carry it on my head and go further. No, that will be silliness. Sadhana. So that is the word sadhana. First is sadhana, then sadhana. Then we have Upadesha Panchakam. Upadesha Panchakam. Upadesha means an instruction. Knowledge that is imparted is called as Upadesha. It is called as Upadesha. Deshika means the teacher. The word Upadesha means, Disha means to show, to direct. To indicate, to direct. Upadesha means to direct, to indicate, to show, to instruct from close proximity. Upa is closeness, proximity. To show something, to indicate something from closeness. And this is it. That is then called as Upadesha. Well, one of the names for this finger, what is it called? The pointing finger, index finger, is Deshana. This is called as Deshana. So what does the teacher do? Shows this is Paramatma. So in showing, that is Upadesha. And then when Paramatma is shown, how God is shown, how by placing the finger over there, by placing it right. So you are that Brahman. So when he's saying you are that Brahman, as if the teacher is putting his hand right on the chest of the student and saying, "Thus you are Brahman." So closely, that closely, Paramatma is shown, which means without any ambiguity, without any vagueness. So that is then Upadesha, and Panchakam means pentad. Then it is also called as Upadesha Pancharatnam. Upadesha Pancharatnam, now you understand the word Upadesha, instruction, knowledge that is given, indication is all Upadesha. Adesha, Upadesha. Adesha, colloquially, we mean some sort of an order given. But in the Upanishad, or even grammatically, etymologically, the word Upadesha also has Disha in it. Over here, the prefix is Upa. Over there, the prefix is A. Adesha, Upadesha. Therefore, it can be used. These Nath Sampradaya people, they say Adesh. Adesh is Upadesh. Even there. Not some sort of just an order that that has to be executed. Now, Upadesha Pancharatnam. Ratnam means a jewel, something which is very, very precious, very valuable. That is a jewel. So, amongst the various teachings, instructions, etc., this is like a jewel. And it is 5 jewels, very precious jewels. What is it that you value? Knowledge. And in that knowledge too, what knowledge becomes very precious to you? The knowledge about Atma and Brahman, the unity, the oneness of Atma and Brahman. So that which now shows this just in 5 verses, and so hence this is called as Upadesha Pancharatnam. So in tradition, we have various titles, these few titles to the same work. So in case if you hear someone say Sadhana Panchakam, someone says Sadhana Panchakam, someone says Upadesha Panchakam, or somebody says Upadesha Pancharatnam, all of them mean the same work, or this pentad of over here by Shankaracharya. Upadesha Pancharatnam. Okay, now, because there is a commentary which is in the as karikas, as and the commentary is itself in verse forms, verse VERSE, metrical form. And in that, the author over there, the commentator, mentions the word Pancharatnam, Upadesha Pancharatnam. Okay. But colloquially, something that is more easy to say and to remember is Sadhana Panchakam. So that is also a very popular title. Well, now about this work. In these 5 verses, every verse is a collection of 8 instructions. So in total, there are 40 instructions. Now one can shape his life and map the entire spiritual journey in these 40 points. When somebody wants to travel, let us say from wherever, Mumbai to Jaipur, Mumbai to Delhi, then he will keep points. I will stay in Baroda, then further I will stay in Jaipur, whatever. And then this is how he comes to Rishikesh, Delhi, wherever, if he is traveling. Like that, these are the 40 points, and shaping our life sequentially according to it will assure fulfillment of life, fruitful life. In fact, I would say, I will not even hesitate to say, inculcating these values, shaping our life activities according to what is being charted over here is a very fruitful spiritual life. Life itself is spiritual. There is, your secular activities, religious activities also can become, will be spiritual with a certain understanding and attitude associated with it. Just because a person is going to temples or doing rituals does not mean that it is the person is a mumukshu. It may mean that the person is is following certain dharma. That's all. He is dharmika. We can say he is dharmika, a good person you can trust, etc. So this is just an thing. Dharmika, but that does not mean he is mumukshu. We are talking about the fulfillment of life, which now will be fulfillment of mumuksha. All right. Now let's, without much introduction to it now, about how Shankaracharya gave this as the last instruction and all. Enough of that. We have seen, we know that. Need not be told again. Vedo nityamadhiyatam taduditam karma swanushtiyatam tene shasya vidhiyatam apachitih kamye matistyajyatam papaughah paridhuyatam bhavasukhe doshon sandhiyatam atmecha vyavasiyatam nichagrihat turnam vinirgamyatam. This is the first verse. Now we will see. Atra idam abhidhiyate iha tu brahmacharyanga sadhanena kujottamaha swadhyaya vidhina samyak tadartha pravano bhavet sangam vedamadhityath tathopanishadamapi arthamapatato buddha tadanusthana tatparaha. Now you can all even number them. The first instruction is Vedo Nityamadhiyatam. The second one is Taduditam Karma Swanushtiyatam. The third one is Tena Ishasya Vidhiyatam Apachitihi. The fourth one is Kamye Matistyarchatam. The fifth one is Papaughah Paridhuyatam. The sixth one is Bhavasukhe Doshonusandhiyatam. The seventh is Atmecha Vyavasiyatam. And the eighth one is Nijagrihat Turnam Vinirgamyatam. What is the meaning? Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam. Study the Vedas every day or recite the Vedas every day. So, a person, when he studies and when he understands, do you need to recite it every day? Whatever has to be told now is already known. Why should one recite it anymore? But over here, Veda has to be acquired, and also, so there is a method, a procedure, how this Veda will be acquired. And then next is even till the last breath, as long as the person remains a grihastha, till he comes to sannyasa, he will have to recite the Vedas every day. So here he says, how that Veda is then acquired. What is Veda basically? So in other places, this was mentioned, yet you can keep, because it is good to brush what you have already heard. Brush it up. Dust it. What is it? Vedaha. What is the meaning of Veda? Now somebody is going to say Veda is just a very ancient book of the Hindus, etc. Oh, sir, wait. What is the meaning of Veda, Anuj? Hmm? Dharma Brahma Pratipadakam Apaurusheyam Pramana Vakyam Vedaha. Those who have so don't be like Anuj. Remember it. What is it? Dharma Brahma Pratipadakam. That which propagates, reveals what is Dharma and what is Brahma. So there are these two subject matters that are revealed by something. What is it that, just as our eyes are able to reveal to us the colors and forms, the ears illumine, reveal to us. So reveal does not mean that you were sitting and then now your eyes are able to see or anything. It simply means it is the function of the eyes. What is the function of the eyes? To hear, to taste. So if you take a jalebi, mirchi and put in the eyes. Mirchi means a chili, because eyes also taste. Now the eyes have done the job of seeing things. Now I should, therefore, for a little while, let there be a little change. So you take the food and put in the eyes. No, it is the function. It is the function of the eyes to reveal, to illumine the colors and forms. To illumine the world of sound is the function of auditory faculty, so on and so forth. Like that, there is every pramana, every means of knowledge has its own field to illumine, and without which that object cannot be revealed, cannot be illumined. Without the eyes, colors and forms cannot be revealed. You cannot smell something and say whether it is pink or green. Correct? You cannot lick something and say whether it is what shape it is. In order for that shape to be revealed, we require eyes. So names and forms are revealed by, not names and forms, colors and forms are revealed by the eyes. Now over here, it is a revelation that comes, some fellow is sitting in mountain or somewhere, and now the revelation is. No, that revelation simply means it becomes known. That's all. Just wipe away that that whole mist of something holy, and what do they call it? Creating that aura of mysticism. Sometimes it actually ignites me whenever I talk about it or something. I can go tangent. Anyway, remove. What do you mean by revelation over here? Or somebody means revelation means something special happened to somebody. Let them keep it. We don't need that meaning. For us, revelation over here would mean illumination. Just that object, whatever that object is, it becomes known. It becomes jnatam. It becomes known. That's all. Enough for us. This much revelation is good enough for us. We don't require any other, tangent things. Good. Colors and forms are revealed to the eyes. It cannot be revealed to the nose. We can we can sniff and find out if it is coffee or cigarette or a rose or a jasmine. You can find that out by sniffing it, by smelling it. But by sniffing, you cannot know whether it is pink or green or yellow or blue. So this revelation of the colors, knowing the colors and forms, is given only to the eyes, to the visual faculty, chakshurindriya. What is it that you want to know, sir? I want to know what is dharma, and I want to know what is Brahma. Okay. Now, when you want to know what is dharma and Brahma, both of these are atindriyas, which means this is something that cannot be known through perception, through the organs of perception. This is dharma, this is Brahma. And I can see, I can smell, I can taste. Brahma tastes very sweet. Dharma tastes little astringent. Oh no, you don't have anything like that. So this is not something which is given to these faculties to know. This is how the system is. Oh, but why? Why? Then go on asking why, and also ask the question why only eyes should see. Why should only eyes see? I should be able to see through my tongue also. Lick things. What is it that you want to know? Dharma and Brahma. Both these are atindriyas, which means they do not become the vishaya for the organs of perception. They are not the objects that can be illumined by the organs of perception. So also it cannot be even known through inference. Cannot be known through inference. Inference is also another faculty which serves as a praman, as the means of knowledge. The entire body of science is based on inference. Now, on verification that whatever inference that you have reached, does it have any fault or not? Now, that's why the theories also get refuted, because a stronger inference is built on which now whatever was understood earlier is seen as something defective. So maybe that helps to build the next level of inference, but that's okay. It is refuted, it is gone. This is what happens with inference. Inference also helps you know. Since inference helps you know, that knowledge which comes through inference is called as inferential knowledge. Inference helps you know, and therefore it is called as inferential knowledge. Like the fire in the mountain. A very common example, and you all know now. Vahnimanayam parvataha. This mountain is with fire, or there is fire in the mountain. How did you know? You have just seen the smoke. So for you to know through direct perception, the direct perception can tell you that there is smoke in the mountain. But now at the same time, you have knowledge. There is fire in the mountain. How did you know? Because you haven't seen. So the inference has helped you to know. Inference becomes your means to illumine, to know the fire. So the science is based on this inference. Is based on inference. But Dharma and Brahma are two objects which cannot be even revealed by perception or by inference. Therefore, those who are saying that, well, we will know God through science, they have not understood the function. So by employing eyes to know sounds will never happen. Even when you do the lip reading, so no, this is what he is saying. It is that lip reading helps you to infer that this is what he must have said. Okay, this is what he must have said. So those who are saying this is how we will know Paramatma, and then do not know. At the most, what we can do with inference is we can support that what is revealed by the Veda. So what is it that reveals Dharma and Brahma is Veda. What is it that reveals Dharma and Brahma is Veda. So the first thing, it is a pramana. Then there comes another thing about this pramana, that it is Shabda Pramana, Vakyam. It is Shabda Pramanam. Okay, which means it is in form of a sentence. It is in form of a sentence, means this is a collection of sentences. But now we are going to say sentence. Vakyam, Pramana Vakyam Vedaha. So it is a Pramanam and also it is a Vakyam. Okay? A spoken sentence. Now, there are other elements in this definition. Don't forget the definition. Dharma Brahma Pratipadakam Apaurusheyam Pramanavakyam Vedaha. Okay. Out of these, in that definition, we have seen one factor, or two factors in fact, that it is a prama. Three factors we have seen, that it is a pramanam, it is a vakyam, and it is that pramana reveals dharma and brahma. So now one more thing which we have to see, And let us see that when we meet tomorrow and then proceed ahead in the text. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sudrabhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Thank you, friends. Thank you very much.